This is a truck Chevrolet cannot afford to get wrong. The Chevrolet Silverado 2026 isn't just another update. It's a second chance. Because for years, Silverado had a problem most people couldn't explain. It wasn't bad, it was forgettable. And that's worse. Imagine spending $50,000, $60,000 on a truck, doing your research, watching reviews, comparing specs, and then a few months later realizing you didn't buy the one you actually wanted. You bought the one that felt fine. That's exactly where Silverado used to sit. Not broken, not unreliable, just never the first choice. And in a market this competitive, that's a serious problem. Now, look at it. This doesn't feel like that truck anymore. It's wider, sharper, more aggressive, more intentional. And this isn't just about style, it's about perception. Because today, trucks are not just tools, they're daily drivers, they're lifestyle vehicles. They're something you see every morning and feel something about. And if your truck looks outdated, you start to feel like you made the wrong decision. That was Silverado's hidden weakness. It didn't look bad, it just didn't feel special. This redesign fixes that instantly. Now it has presence. Now it has identity. Now it feels like something you want to own. But here's the part most people don't think about enough. Design is something you notice for a week. Ownership is something you feel for years. And that's where this truck really gets tested. Let's talk engines, but not like a brochure. Let's talk about how they actually affect your life. The base 2.7-liter turbo makes around 310 horsepower. And here's something most buyers won't admit. This is the engine most people should buy. It's more efficient, more affordable, easier to live with every single day. But most buyers won't choose it. Why? Because when you're spending this kind of money, you don't want smart. You want something that feels worth it. Step up to the 5.3-liter V8, and this is where things become safe. This is the engine you buy when you don't want to overthink it. It's proven, reliable, balanced. This is the no-regret option. Not exciting, but never disappointing. Then comes the 6.2-liter V8, 420 horsepower, 0 to 60 in around 5.4 seconds. And this is where the truck stops being logical and starts becoming emotional. This isn't just about capability anymore. It's about enjoyment. And that matters more than people like to admit. But here's where smart buyers slow down and think. The 3.0-liter Duramax diesel. On paper, it doesn't impress, around 305 horsepower. But real ownership isn't about numbers. It's about what happens after 6 months, after a year, long-distance driving, towing efficiency. And this is where diesel quietly becomes the smartest choice. This is the engine you don't appreciate immediately, but end up respecting the most. Now we get to the part that decides if this truck is truly future-proof. The shift towards hybrid and electric. Because this isn't optional anymore. The hybrid Silverado could be the most important version of this truck. Not because it's flashy, but because it improves daily life in ways people underestimate. Smoother acceleration, better fuel economy, less time at fuel stations. These aren't headline features, but they're the things that actually change your ownership experience. And then there's the Silverado EV. On paper, it looks like the perfect truck. Up to 478 miles of range, around 775 pound-feet of torque, up to 12,500 pounds of towing, 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds, starting around $55,000 plus, going up toward $90,000 plus. And this is where most reviews stop, but this is where your real decision begins. Imagine this scenario. You buy the Silverado EV. At first, it feels incredible, silent, smooth, instant power, no fuel stops, no engine noise. It feels like the future. But then, one day, you actually use it like a truck. You hook up a trailer, and suddenly everything changes. That 400+ mile range, it drops fast.
down to around 150 to 180 miles in real conditions. Now your trip isn't simple anymore. You're thinking about charging stations, you're planning stops, you're adjusting your route, and that changes how the truck fits into your life. So here's the honest advice most videos avoid. If you tow regularly, gas or diesel still makes more sense. If you daily drive, the EV might be the best experience here. And that difference matters more than any spec sheet. Inside the truck, things finally change, and this was overdue. For the first time in years, you sit inside and don't feel like you chose the wrong truck. Bigger screens, better materials, cleaner layout. It finally feels modern. Now, let's be honest. Is it the best interior in the segment? No. But here's what matters more. It's no longer a weakness, and that completely changes how this truck competes. Technology also steps up in a meaningful way. Super Cruise, advanced towing systems, 360-degree cameras. These aren't just features for marketing. They reduce stress. Long drives feel easier. Towing feels more controlled. And this is something you only truly understand after living with the truck. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture, because this is where your decision becomes real. The Ford F-150 starts around $36K to $40K and remains the benchmark. It offers multiple engines, including a hybrid with around 430 horsepower, and can tow up to 13,500 pounds. This is still the safest, most complete choice overall. The Ram 1500 starts around $38K plus and focuses on comfort. With powerful engines and a smoother ride, it's the most refined truck here, though towing is slightly lower at around 11,500 to 12,000 pounds. This is the truck you buy for daily comfort. The Toyota Tundra starts around 43,000 plus, with a twin-turbo V6 and hybrid producing up to 437 horsepower, towing around 12,000 pounds. This is the long-term ownership choice, reliability, and resale. And then there's Silverado, starting around $35K to $65K, with EV models from $55K to $90K plus. It doesn't dominate one category, but it doesn't fall behind in any either. And this is where everything comes together. The 2026 Silverado is not trying to be the best truck. It's trying to be the truck that makes the most sense. No major weakness, no obvious deal breaker. But here's the truth most people don't say out loud. Being good at everything can sometimes mean you're not the best at anything. So here's the real question you need to ask yourself. When you're about to spend this much money, do you choose a truck that does everything well, or the one that does one thing better than everyone else? Because that decision is exactly what will decide if the Silverado finally becomes a truck people want or stays the one they settle for.